Revenge films.
2 years after I graduated, I started to think about marrying my boyfriend. It wasn't a real proposal, but I was so happy to hear the word marriage from his mouth. We talked it over and arranged to visit his parents the next weekend. But when we did, his mother, out of the blue, said, "You were raised by a single parent, right? To be honest, dear, those kind of folks lack education. Do you really think you're right for my son?" I never dreamed of her saying such nasty things when we would first meet, and I was at a loss. Indeed, my family only had a single parent. Plus, it was my father. The reason is because when I was young, my mother was killed in a car accident. But I haven't the slightest memory of any stranger laughing at the fact I only had a single parent, or of anyone denying my father, who worked so hard to raise me. However, my boyfriend, who was listening right next to me, never let loose a word of protest, even though I was being ridiculed. "Why aren't you saying anything?" As I glanced in his direction, by happenstance, no doubt, his gaze fell away from mine. To be honest, I was angry at him, and at his mother. But it was his mother, after all. So I did everything I could to keep my anger at bay. Also, I would be lying if I said I wasn't lonely because Mom passed on. But Dad loved me for her and did everything for me. So for someone to say such things made me so sad. After we came home from his family's house, my boyfriend finally said something.
"I'll try to convince my mother again."
But to be honest, here, the way he acted in that situation left a smoldering flicker of resentment in my heart. Before I went to meet his family, I talked to Dad and told him everything. And so, perhaps he noticed that nothing was progressing, and he said,
"Did something happen?"
I wasn't very good with keeping secrets, so I just poured the details onto him. And then he said, with a very strange expression on his face,
"I see."
From his perspective, he was probably pretty pissed that his daughter was insulted. But he was also probably shocked that the undeniable fact that he as a single parent was mentioned openly. That's what was up. But by pure chance, we happened on my boyfriend's family when we were grocery shopping. Upon seeing his mother's face, Dad said,
"I know you told my daughter that the child of a single parent lacks education. But who are you to say such bullshit?"
As my boyfriend and I stood as clueless as a goldfish, his mother went hysterical. "How dare you? I knew this girl wasn't right for my son. Her own father is such an ugly brute."
"How dare you, the elder sister of the woman who killed my wife in a car accident! I won't let you forget my ugly face again!"
Then my boyfriend's mother looked very carefully at Dad's face. You, from when?"
"So you finally remember! Your young sister, along with her boyfriend at the time, sped down the road and hit my lovely wife. Who do you think you are, having such a scumbag in your family, and condescending Sandy? Your sister is the reason why this girl is a single-parent child! You understand me?"
My mind went blank over the fact that Henry's mother's sister hit Mom all those years ago. Is this true, Dad?
"I swear it's true, honey."
Afterwards, Dad explained everything, slowly and carefully. The accident that had killed Mom was perpetrated by Henry's aunt, and his mother recognized Dad because she was present at the meetings too. He was furious that she had the audacity to insult me about having a single parent when her own sister killed my own mother. She herself didn't know her son and was engaged to be married to the child of the family who fell victim to a great loss and was stunned. In the end, we went our separate ways, and the talk about marriage was resurrected. But frankly, my feelings for him were fading away because he never tried to stand up for me. I didn't our parents to meet to call the marriage off. The truth about my mother was the final straw. I had a good number of friends who knew of me and Henry, and they were thinking we were going to tie the knot soon, so...
"Why did you call it off? Did he cheat on you?"
was a common question. I hesitated on telling them because it had something to do with Mom, but it was the truth, so I spilled everything. They answered,
"Good on you for breaking up with him. It was actually lucky of you to find out all this before you got married. For real, I would hate a mother like that. Not to mention, he was a guy who never stood up for you, so you both would have been his mother's pawns. He didn't have a spine."
They were so supportive.
"But what are the odds, for real? So 2 people, one a victim, one related to a perpetrator, being in a romantic relationship?"
Yep, that's right. Straight out of a movie, huh? True, the perpetrator was Henry's aunt, and he wasn't involved. So there wasn't any way to put any responsibility on him, even if I wanted to. But I understood one thing. When his mother and I were on the scales, his mother always won. Like my friends say, if we did marry, there's no way he would make a stand against his bitch mother. As proof of that, when I told him the relationship was off, he didn't protest. I didn't feel anything in particular about that, so the arrangements went smoothly. But I was pissed at the fact that his mother had never apologized for her crassness. It wouldn't be too much of a favor for her to apologize on the perpetrator's behalf, but she was a douchebag until the very end. But this whole thing was quite exaggerated after the breakup was official, and Henry's father fell victim to a terrible rumor. If you want to be worthy of marrying into that family, check if one of your parents survives a car accident. As you would imagine, such a rumor made them unable to stay in peace. So Henry, his douchebag mother, and the like moved away. But the rumor was such a powerful one, so while it would die away for a time, but whenever he would find another girlfriend, it would resurface one way or another. If your daughter tries to marry him, one of her parents is gonna become a roadkill. Of course, such a rumor would drive his fiancée or his new wife away. Because of that stupid mother of his, it was like a curse whenever he tried to marry. The girl always got away. It's so funny. A year after my breakup, a friend of mine said,
"I'll go guy hunting for you. There's bound to be someone out there that deserves you."
Sure enough, she introduced me to this guy, Paul. I started going out with him, and when I went to visit his house once, I found the most extraordinary coincidence. Turns out, his mother was a nurse, who at the time worked at the hospital to which my mom was transported. His mother, upon asking my name, said, "No way, you couldn't be." She was shocked. Back then, when we heard that Mom had been in an accident, Dad took me to the hospital. But by then, it was too late. Torn apart by sadness, my young self cried at the thought of Mom. The nurse who hugged me, comforted me, and stayed by my side the whole time was Paul's mother. After I came home, I told Dad about it, and he was eager to meet her. In the beginning, Paul told me,
I hope you'll go out with me on the premise of marriage. I promise to make you happy.
Talk of marriage came not too long afterwards. Paul's mother simply couldn't believe the behavior of Henry's mother. Indeed, what are the chances? The little girl all of those years ago, becoming engaged to my own son. Your mother was saying your name and your father's until the very end, sweetie. Such a wonderful mom, I know. She is such a sweetheart, thinking affectionately of my mother. Paul's mother had quite the heart-wrenching experience, since the mother to a child the same age as her own was at the precipice. She couldn't bear the thought of never seeing her child again. Of course, Dad was enthusiastic about getting married to Paul. On this premise of our families close and friendly, we tied the knot. The next year, we were blessed with a beautiful little girl. Of course, his parents were over the moon, but Dad let loose the waterworks and said,
She looks just like your mother.
I talked it over with Paul and took a few letters from my mom's name and used them in my daughter's. I'm positive fate made it so my relations with my ex's mother would be terrible and led me to Paul, my beloved. Thanks, Mom. I love you.
How was today's video? If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Stay tuned for more.